So today I'm here to do a paycheck to paycheck budget, and I know that you guys love these videos, and sometimes I legitimately just forget to record it because I'm not always sitting right here whenever I do these. So we are about to go into April, and I feel like I am sitting at my desk and I'm realizing that I can go ahead and film this. So that is what I'm going to be doing now. So if you would like to see how we're going to be budgeting our money from today up until our next paycheck, then stay tuned. Okay, so I have my budget planner in front of me. I'm just gonna rip this out. It's gonna be a little bit loud. And you guys know that I changed my setup. So basically all I have is this monthly budget sheet, which I'm gonna show you guys why I thought this would be kind of brilliant. And then I have this. So let's just jump right into this. So when we do our paycheck to paycheck budgets, we actually don't really, I don't really, make them formal or pretty or anything. I kind of just write and write and write. So we're just going to label this April 1 through April. We're going to go, we'll do until the 12th, and I'll explain to you why. So I always write the date or something similar, and then I pretty much just I just budget. So moving into April, the amount of money that we're going to be starting with is, or the amount of money that we're going to start our budgeting with. This is not obviously all of the money that we have or anything like that, but this is the amount that we're going to start our monthly budget with. So this is pretty much going to be the equivalent to our rollover, and I know you guys have heard me talk about that a lot. So then what I do is I use this monthly calendar to see which expenses, to see which expenses we are going to have. And so let's start on April the 1st. We are for sure going to go grocery shopping. April the 1st is actually tomorrow. So we would do groceries. And I'm writing really big, so hopefully you guys can see this. And we're going to do $50 because that is what we normally budget for groceries. And then the next expense is, I know that on Tuesdays, or when I go back to work, which is going to be Tuesday, I'm going to need gas for sure. So, not when I go back to work, but I'm going to need gas before I go to work. Like, whenever I leave this house, I'm going to have to get some gas. And so I usually fill up. So I'm going to budget $20 for my gas. So that's about all that my car will take. Typically, I drive a hybrid. So I'm going to also budget about $20 for my husband for his gas, because he will need to get some gas as well. And then those are pretty much the main expenses that take place every month. We do groceries, we do gas. We sometimes spend some of our allowance, assuming we take an allowance. We don't always spend some from our allowance every week. And we don't always spend some from restaurants every week. But every week I'm going to need gas for sure. And every week we're going to need groceries for sure. So we always make sure we budget for those. The next thing, we just hit our bills. And I'm going in kind of like chronological order. So the first bill of the month is going to be our cable and internet. And we'll just write cable here so I don't have to write a lot. And that will be $107.86. The next bill is going to be my student loan. Shay student loan. I just said it, so I don't want to write it out. And that's going to be $128. I hope that's not going through the paper. Nope. So the next one is rent, and this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. So we're going to do rent for $570. It's rent and water technically for $570. So we don't have any bills due on the 6th or the 7th. Because we are going to go grocery shopping on the 1st, we are probably going to go grocery shopping again on probably the 8th, maybe the 7th, maybe the 8th. Either way, we're going to need to go grocery shopping for the second week. So at that point, I know that I need to budget for groceries. So we'll do $50 yet again. And we do budget $25 for toiletries every month, but we kind of just get those as needed, and right now we don't really need a lot of things. So when we do go to the grocery store, we will get toiletries if we need them, but again, I don't really see us needing a lot, so I don't really necessarily budget for those things. As we go throughout the week, we do have a category or a line item for toiletries for the month, but not for the week, if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense, because I'm trying to make this make sense. Then the last thing, the last thing will be gas. So I fill up every single week without fail. My husband usually just will use 1 tank of gas. I use 4 because I commute to work, and then I sometimes drive at work, or do a lot of driving at work sometimes. So I am going to get gas probably the next week. And the way that it works, if I don't do any driving outside of my normal go to work and drive a little bit while I'm at work or whatever, I kind of fill up on the same day every week. So either way, I know at somewhere around here, I'm going to need gas. So therefore, we're going to budget for gas again for 20. Yeah, we're going to do this over because that's all types of butcher. So, okay, let's do this over. 50 for groceries. We'll just do 40 for gas. 107.86 for cable and internet. 128 for my student loans. 570 for rent and water. 50 for groceries, and 20 for gas. That is going to leave us with $154.49. Hopefully y'all are with me. Okay, so let's talk about why we chose to do this. And so I get this question a lot, and I sometimes run from the question because trying to answer it is confusing, but let's talk about it. So $154.49 is what we're going to be working with from our main checking account. So we have savings accounts and other accounts and all of that, but the goal is to never touch those accounts and to continue to live below our means and not have to pull from any of those accounts. Now, I did make a mistake one time, thought I was going to have to pull from the account, but I actually didn't because everything worked out. That's normally how my life goes. Everything typically works out. But let's talk about why we chose to not include this payday here. Okay, so spoiler alert, I think that my husband's gonna have still the same paydays on Fridays, but I don't know when the first one will be. We think it'll be this Friday, and then he'll get paid these Fridays, but we are not counting on that. I don't like to count on money that I don't have. Even if I have a check and it hasn't cleared or I haven't cashed it, I don't like to count on that because I can't just sit around waiting on a check to clear, or like waiting on a check that's not cash to, I can't count on that to survive or to live or to meet my needs, if that makes sense. So we're not even gonna worry about that. But the reason why we chose to do this instead of including that is because this check is gonna be one of the variable ones. So when it hits, we will budget for it and we'll add it here or wherever we are with this budget. I can even reevaluate this. Once this check hits, I can do another paycheck to paycheck budget and go from here to here. But because that check has not come, I don't even know the exact amount. I don't even know what the amount would be whatsoever at this point. I can't count on that. So I have to make sure that we can pay our bills and pay for our rent and water and pay for our basic living expenses, which is pretty much groceries and gas, and be able to do those things in the absence of this variable check. Now this check is going to be more variable, so I can count on it to hit and be able to pay for this. I can also count on this to be able to pay this check to be able to pay for this or any of our other expenses. But for right now, because we're here, it's not even April the 1st, it's March the 31st. Because we're back here, I can't count on this to take care of this. I can only count on this to take care of this and everything after that if need be. But I can't count on that to take care of anything that comes before it. And so therefore, that is why we are rolling over $1,092.63, because we know that that will be enough to survive off of. Now, we will have $154.49 remaining. What this means, before this check hits, and I know this can get a little bit confusing, but what this means is that in the absence of this check, we can still survive further. So if we want to spend a little bit from our allowance, we can. If we want to go to a restaurant, we can. If my husband needs a haircut, he can get that. If we need more groceries, if we need more gas, if we have a, you know, small miscellaneous expense pop up, we can still survive relatively well for these, you know, 5 days or so in the absence of this check. And that is how we do our paycheck to paycheck budgets. And that is why you see me do this like this. And I realized that I wasn't always making that super clear because it can be a little bit confusing. And that is why I don't really do these that much, because I get a lot of questions that I sometimes can't answer. And that is why I sometimes don't do these. Other than the fact that I don't always sit down and do these formally anyway. But anyway, that is why you see the $154.49, and that is why we're not counting that check. Now, again, when this check hits, we can add up the money that we have available to us and do this yet again up until the 12th. Or when the 12th hits, we can do another one up until the 20th, or probably the 21st, because that's a payday, so we'll just wait until the 21st, and then we'll do another one to our next payday, but I think that's going to be a payday, so when Friday hits, we'll wait to see how much money we have here, and then do another one. And so that's just how that works. And again, I know it can be a little bit confusing, but that is why we choose to sometimes just run through. I know in the past when I would do these, I would just skip over the paydays and just keep on subtracting and subtracting, because that is just, I feel like, something that comes with the territory of having variable income. I'm going to project we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll probably have 7 to 8 paydays this month, and only 2 of them will be more so consistent and fixed than the other ones. The other ones are going to be super variable. We're not going to have any earthly clue how much they are up until, you know, a couple of days before or whatever. So that is why we budget the way that we do, and we do it paycheck to paycheck. Even though we do a monthly budget, we still budget paycheck to paycheck, so we can make sure that we can live if one of these checks don't hit. And I've had checks be delayed and all kinds of crazy stuff, and I don't have time for any of that. I need to be able to pay my bills in the absence of a delayed check, and that is just a part of our achieving financial peace. I think financial peace or freedom looks different for everyone. For me, it is pretty much living within my means, not having to like really, you know, wait on a check to pay bills or anything like that. I should have enough in my checking account or my savings account or in some kind of reserve account to pay my bills or to live off of in the absence of a check. So maybe it's me being a little bit anal, but I think that's all a part of the master plan and something that we've mastered since June. So I'm not waiting for a check. I know when checks are coming. I'm not, you know, waiting on a check to pay a bill. I'm not waiting on checks to survive. I typically am waiting for checks to pay off debt. Getting a check makes me happy so I can make a debt payment usually, but I'm not waiting on a check to pay my rent. So that's just what is a part of our plan for financial freedom, and that's just a part of our financial plan. And so that's what we thrive to do, and we've been doing it pretty well since we started budgeting. And so anyway, I hope that this wasn't too confusing. If it is, please ask me a question. Follow me on Instagram at Shay Budgets. I've been loving interacting with you guys through messages on there. I just got a message earlier. I think you guys heard that noise. That's what that was. But I've been getting so many messages, and I like interacting over there. And it's a little bit more personal, although I do like for you guys to just ask questions in the comments section down below, so then I can answer it and then everybody can see it. That kind of helps too. But if you are confused, just holla at your girl, and I will try to help you make sense of this to anyone. But I think this is really just something that's more common with people with variable income. Anyway, if you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, honestly. And I feel like I'm rambling on, so I'm going to go now. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.